Oh, hi again. I'm Macrame Meg, and this is the final episode of Expedition Maker.
The art of making is timeless. It takes courage, resilience, trust, and a splash, or two or three, of creativity. As Jews, we know how important it is to persevere and stay flexible. As people, we know this year has been quite the, well, let's call it what it is, a shit show. With the impact of the pandemic on the arts, we decided to create a remote competition for Jewish creatives to challenge and expand their artistry and imagination. Each week, our makers will receive a challenge prompt based on the Jewish calendar and have 6 days to design, assemble, and record their every move. In the end, only one will take home $5,000 and the title of Grand Makher.
We did it, a full month of making with these incredible, talented artists. But unfortunately, we still have to say goodbye to 2 more of our makers this week before we get to the final 4. Let's hear what they wanted to share.
So, I did not make it to the finale of Expedition Maker. And obviously, I'm really bummed, but I am mostly just overwhelmed by how much support I've received through this whole thing and how validating it has been to have people take knitting seriously as an art form. And the reason I came on the show was not to win, it was to make friends, which I did, to connect to this maker community, which I did, and to hopefully bring more people to my work as a Jewish knitwear designer. So if you want to continue to follow along, my Instagram is IRunThisKnit. So I'm really happy that I was able to have this platform and to meet all of you and to be part of this amazing competition. And I can't wait for the next season. Hopefully there's a next season.
Well, I didn't make it to the finale, and I'm definitely disappointed. I really had my eyes on the prize. I wanted to win so badly, but thank you to everyone who voted me to get this far, and I had an amazing time. I had an amazing time on Expedition Maker. I got to improve, spend my time really working on, my craft and trying things that I'd never tried before. So that was really fun. And I will be connected to all of these makers forever and ever. So definitely well worth it.
Goodbyes are so hard, especially with these 2. But good news, we're ditching eliminations! This week's challenge winner for the best New Moon Rising is... Congrats! Make sure to vote for your Challenge 4 winner, who will be announced at the live grand finale. More on that at the end of the episode, so stick around, because this week has perfect timing.
Our makers met on our weekly maker call to hear from Yoshi about this week's challenge.
Your challenge this week is springtime or Jewish Standard Time, and the challenge is to make a Jewish timepiece, aka a physical object for counting or marking Jewish time.
Now let's see what our top 4 makers made.
This is the final. It's almost noon. I've sketched some ideas down. I'm going to do an illustration. I'm worried because I know I don't necessarily have time. So I'm going to do a piece that represents time and counting time that can necessarily be used every year. So I'm going to make a visual for the counting of the Omer. Hi, my friends. I can't wait to share this process with you. All right, be well.
I am a 4th generation female artist. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take their work, cut all of it up, and sort of put it as the background for a self-portrait, which I'm going to paint. Sort of a collage of my great-grandma Anne's paintings, my Aunt Susie from my Aunt Ellen. I feel like this represents time really well because we've had so many generations of artists in our family.
So many things in Judaism, they're regular objects. What sanctifies them is use of them in the ritual. Another thing I'm thinking about is that secular time, if you want to call it that, which I think is pretty objective. So you want to know what time it is,
I think of a secular time, there's like an objective time, there's a governing body that decides what time it is, and then Jewish time is participatory observational, like we're the ones who set the calendar, announce new month, Shabbat starts when you light candles, Shabbat ends when you do Havdalah. objects are holy because we imbue them with holiness, right? Like things aren't distinctly holy, but things are holy when we make them holy.
And I think that's such a powerful statement that we are the ones who are in charge of this calendar, of this timeline. And so what I want to make for this week is I want to make a Havdalah set that looks like a home. I want to make this object that's both a representation of this idea of sanctifying and also an actual ritual object that we can use to make a transition from one piece of time to another piece of time.
Welcome to Jerusalem, the best. I'm super excited because last night before going to sleep, on Wednesday night, already the very beginning, I had my idea.
This is about music defining our time and music helping to shape Jewish ritual and observance of time.
Each day that you count is a day of, think of personal reflection and growth. Those 49 days of counting are inspirational. It's a beautiful invitation for a personal reflection and growth. So I think overall this illustration, my wish is that it becomes something that could be a gift for someone else. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Week 4. Illustrated guide to this experience and a map for this journey. And I really looked at the sphere road, these lower 7 emanations, attributes corresponding to the days of the week, days of creation. One of these things where I'm like, okay, I want to create a visual that tells a story that also allows someone to look at each day and think about, I'm in a week of chesed, I'm in a week of kindness right now. How do I channel this? What does this day represent for me?
Wow, it's beautiful.
That's crazy.
Wow. I don't think I've ever rushed such an illustration before. So just think of like quick ways or ways of cutting some unnecessary steps. For example, I used to never be able to draw with pens. So one way I got over it was I basically only wrote with pens and only started to draw and sketch in pens. And I started to learn to work with the imperfection, the happy mistakes. It's been like a dream. Yeah, it really has. Every week, given this challenge, Torah concept, create some art, go, make it happen. I don't want this to end. Like, I have enjoyed having a challenge every single week. Like, it's literally been such a gift. It's just like it's fueled me, energized me, motivated me in so many different ways. And I'm like thinking to myself, okay, this beautiful thing was created and gifted to my life. How do I keep it going?
Okay. Why do you think we have so many artists in our family?
I don't know, but everybody seems to be very supportive of everybody else in what they do. There are 11 grandchildren and spouses, and they all encourage each other, and we've always encouraged art. So it's in the air. It's everywhere.
I remember, Nanny, when I was a kid coming to your studio, and you said I could make something out of clay, and then you got it made in bronze. I made a bear sitting in his chair, and I remember, and then you gave it to me like months later in bronze. Which I think for a little kid was really a nice thing to do. I really can't wait to paint. It's been a while. I really started as a portrait painter, so it'll be fun to get back to it and see what I can do. I have a likeness here, I think, but I'm just trying to make it even more. You can see right here, I put down my great-grandmother's name from one of her pieces, so I'm gonna sign right above it. Their images and their work kind of shape who I am. The competition has definitely challenged me because it's made me work fast, realizing that things can't be perfect, but trying my best. If I won the $5,000, I think I would put it towards working on more independent projects. Mostly, it's been wonderful to get to know this creative community. I felt very challenged by them. I'm really grateful for giving me all of these ideas and motivating me to make all this work. I feel like I have a new body of work that I'm really proud of. I also feel like I've been so on a path with a certain medium, and it's so nice to dig back into other mediums, and like these challenges for me have been so personal. Like I feel extremely challenged by the group. And so it's very stimulating for me because I feel like I just keep on having to up my game. So I really enjoy doing this with all of you.
As I'm trying to figure out how big to make this building, I have this paper box. I think this proportionally looks okay. You know, the water tower is this big, if this is the building, I might not go the full width. This is going to be the facade of my building. Here's the door frame. And a very tiny mailbox that is going to be a tzedakah box. On top of the building, there's one of those old school advertising billboards up in lights. It says, "Look up," because that's how you know what time of day it is in Jewish time. I just got this glow-in-the-dark spray paint. I want to do a New York-style water tower on top of the building. That's going to be a Kiddush cup with a little conical hat on top that makes it look like a water tower. I want the Havdalah candle to be a street lamp. I want to make a graffiti that goes on the side of the building that's made with spices. A piece of graffiti that you can take off the wall and smell.
I'm trying to cut out a wire hanger to support this infrastructure so that I could try to connect that in, take away this beam entirely.
I just completed my final project.
It's a Havdalah. It's called Havdalah in the City. And,
Oh my God, I love that.
And then, of course, I can't do a thing without making it light up. And so the whole box lights up. How you make a house a home, you fill it with light.
It's pretty cool to see that it really came together in a way that I hoped that it would. I had this idea in my head of what I wanted it to be. Not exactly the specifics of the look, but kind of the bigger impact that I wanted to have, and it came pretty close.
For me, I've been working with clients for so long, and everything has to be like packageable and shippable, and it has to go somewhere, and it has to arrive intact, and there has to be all kinds of like budgetary constraints. This has actually been nicely freeing in that it doesn't have to last. I don't have to make sure it gets to Denver.
When we open or turn around our calendar, we see a way to mark the actual Hebrew date. Just like a desktop calendar with blocks, you can write every date. Ironically though, that's not how we think of Jewish time. Jewish time is about moments of celebration, transition, and community. How can this calendar mark those moments? Here we are, we have a million strips. I will admit that this is the part I am not looking forward to in this project. What does Eli love? Peeling off tape and things. This is so fun. And I have to choose between 4 paint chips. So watch me do my little figuring that out. I have 2 options right now. This guy and this guy. This guy is gonna take me all night and it doesn't look that great. I think we're definitely going with the pencil. All right, everybody, it is the finale. To celebrate being in the top 4, I dressed up for y'all. I'm excited. This is gonna be amazing. Hebrew is all about 3-letter roots that have tons of meanings. We use this calendar to set an intention or a goal for our Jewish practice. This handy booklet has 7 of them, with explanations about how each root connects to a different moment within Jewish time. Maybe you're already looking forward to Kabbalat Shabbat this week, so you put in Kabel. On the back of these little cards, there's a song associated with that moment, so you can always have music with you. We have a harp, which, brings me to the music of like King David and Psalms and very traditional and old-fashioned. We have the guitar, which relates to I think of more as the contemporary Ashkenazi Jewish experience, and then an oud, which is a Eastern instrument that you'll find in Mizrahi culture. The vertical lines become a sort of timeline here, and we see here it says 538, and here it says 70 CE, and here it says the 29th of November 1947,
Jewish time exists on so many levels. It's like either throughout generations or that one little moment when Shabbat begins.
And there's a hidden QR code. When you scan the code, it will take you to a Spotify playlist of 7 of these songs. And if you want to listen with friends, your phone fits right here and connects to this built-in paper speaker.
Okay, I'm going back to the idea of making stuff that is analog. I feel like everything I do is digital, and part of that is about reproduction. And here it was so open, and we were just making one of them, which I never do. Like, I don't make art where there's just one of them. So it was cool to like bring out tools almost from school. My compass, I haven't used the compass. I don't think I've ever touched a compass. So that was super fun.
We've been on a long journey, each person in their own studio, and I'm so glad to be here with these other 3 folks.
And that's week 4. Next Sunday is the live grand finale, where we will be crowning our Grand Makher and winner of $5,000. How does that work? I'm so glad you asked. Our 3 judges will review each of the final 4 makers' projects and then decide who will win the coveted prize of $5,000 and the title of Grand Makher. Now let's recap. Register online now to save your spot at the live grand finale. Come to support your favorite makers, connect with this awesome community, maybe see me, but ultimately watch one maker's life change with $5,000. I'll see you Sunday, and stay crafty.